Deep in the boreal forest of Ontario, where snow hushes every sound and 1,000 spruce trees stand like sentinels, a promise of paradise once took root. It would end in hunger, terror, and death. They called themselves the Ant Hill Kids. Welcome back to Mysteries Crime Stories. If stories like this fascinate you, stay with us, share your thoughts in the comments, and let us know which hidden crimes you'd like us to explore next. It began in 1977. Roch Thériault, a bearded man with fiery eyes and a gift for persuasion, preached that the modern world was rotten and the end was near. Salvation, he said, lay in leaving the cities behind and living close to God in the wild, families yearning for meaning, abandoned jobs, mortgages, and relatives, following him north into the Canadian wilderness. Among towering pines and freezing streams, they built cabins from rough-cut logs, tilled stubborn soil, and sang by the firelight. Roch named them the Ant Hill Kids, insisting that, like ants, they would labor tirelessly for a holy future. At first, there was hope, fresh air, communal meals, an intoxicating sense of purpose. But the wilderness is indifferent, and winters in Ontario are merciless. Food dwindled, tempers frayed. Slowly, Roch's vision darkened. He proclaimed himself the only path to God, banning contact with family and labeling doubt as sin. Punishments crept in: fasting, sleepless nights, public shaming. Each rule tightened the walls around them until the outside world felt like a fading dream. By the early 1980s, his control was absolute. He claimed divine healing powers and began performing crude operations with hunting knives and no anesthesia. Children were beaten for trivial mistakes. Women were coerced into silence, told their suffering proved loyalty. The forest around them muffled every scream. For authorities hundreds of miles away, the commune barely existed, a nameless cluster of shacks lost in endless trees. Then came the horrors no one could reverse. In 1989, a toddler named Samuel fell ill, his stomach swollen with pain. Roch, drunk and raving about demons, crushed the child's body during a so-called exorcism. Samuel died within hours. Terror silenced the group. Soon after, loyal follower Solange complained of stomach cramps. Roch declared surgery was necessary, slicing into her abdomen on a wooden table. She bled to death as the others stood frozen. Desperate to mask guilt, Roch mutilated her remains in a grotesque ritual, insisting her soul would be reborn. For some, these deaths shattered the trance. Gabrielle Lavallée, a young woman repeatedly brutalized, finally fled after Roch amputated part of her arm in another drunken procedure. Half-conscious, bleeding, she reached a road and begged for help. Police listened. Helicopters swept over pine canopies to a clearing littered with cabins, crude tools, and traumatized survivors. In 1993, Canadian courts heard the unimaginable. Witness after witness described years of sexual assault, beatings, starvation, and murder cloaked in prophecy. Roch Thériault was sentenced to life imprisonment for second-degree murder and aggravated assault. His wilderness kingdom dissolved into silence. Behind bars, he continued to write letters claiming innocence, but his power was gone. In 2011, another inmate killed him, closing the final chapter on a man once mistaken for a prophet. Today, the forest slowly swallows the clearing. Cabins collapse beneath snow. Grass hides the scars where unmarked graves once lay. Survivors live with nightmares, rebuilding lives stolen by fear. Experts cite the Ant Hill Kids as a chilling study in coercive control. How charisma, isolation, and apocalyptic belief can twist ordinary people into accomplices to horror. Evil rarely arrives wearing horns. It often begins as belonging, purpose, a smile by the fire. In the Canadian wilderness, that promise decayed into terror, leaving only echoes through the trees. If this story unsettled you, Share it so others understand how easily faith can be bent into a weapon. Comment which forgotten crimes you want uncovered next, and subscribe for more journeys into history's darkest corners.